All right, welcome back to the Middle Tech Podcast. You've got Logan Jones here, and today I'm doing a little bit different of a podcast. So rather than have a human guest on, I'm actually having an AI guest on. So we are going to be talking with ChatGPT's advanced voice mode. So we're talking with Cove specifically. So he is one of the voices on this new advanced voice mode, and I really just wanted to do this podcast to show how incredible this new feature is within the pro subscription of ChatGPT. So I'm really just going to be going through a series of different capabilities of advanced voice mode, talking through some different use cases and just in general showing off this new feature, since I'm not sure how many people have pro and have access to this that listen to our podcast. So before we dive into that, just want to get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll jump into this conversation with Cove. Before highlighting our sponsors, we'd just like to state that the views and content shared on this platform do not necessarily reflect those of our show sponsors. Middle Tech is presented by KY Innovation, the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development's Office of Entrepreneurship. KY Innovation exists to support and develop Kentucky's startup ecosystem, and we are proud to be supported by an organization whose mission aligns so closely with ours. If you're a founder building in Kentucky, you need to check out the resources that KY Innovation has to offer. You can find more information by clicking the link in our show notes or going to kyinnovation.com. Middle Tech is sponsored by Bolt Marketing. Take your website to the next level with a website that's built to work. At Bolt Marketing, they're revolutionizing websites for small businesses that are affordable, customizable, and hassle-free. Whether you have a construction company, a boutique clothing store, or you own a hot yoga studio, they have options for you. Click the link in our show notes to explore their marketing options that can transform your marketing and grow your business. And as a personal note, Bolt Marketing built our website, and they were awesome to work with throughout the entire process. We highly recommend working with. Middle Tech is also supported by Huntsicker, an impact venture studio based in Lexington, Kentucky. Huntsicker is creating companies out of the ordinary by founding and funding the next generation of purpose-driven startups. They partner with founders to create indispensable solutions to the world's most fundamental problems. On a quarterly basis, they host an invite-only intimate gathering called Fireside Convos, where attendees representing a wide network of stakeholders in the regional entrepreneurial ecosystem discuss timely topics, including the role of AI for startups out of Kentucky and the challenges of identifying and attracting talent. To be considered as a guest, visit huntsicker.co/fireside to apply. All right, I'm Logan Jones. I'm here joined today by Cove, who is an AI voice, part of ChatGPT's advanced voice feature. So Cove, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Logan. Excited to be here and dive into what advanced voice mode can do. Let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been playing with you a little bit, going back and forth. I think just to set things at a high level, one of the most compelling parts of this advanced voice mode is how conversational it becomes. So it really does feel like you're talking to another human, really providing even more of a human-like touch to artificial intelligence, which is, it's a pretty big advancement. People kind of freaked out when this demo first came on. It took a while for OpenAI to actually release this, but I just got access this week. So if you wouldn't mind just starting off, kind of talking about from your perspective, what are some of the capabilities that you think are the coolest about this new advanced voice mode?
Absolutely, Logan. One of the standout features is the ability to hold natural flowing conversations. It's designed to understand context, which means it can respond in a way that feels more like chatting with a person. Plus, the versatility in tone and style allows for a dynamic range, from casual to professional. This makes it great for various use cases, whether it's answering questions, providing explanations, or even storytelling.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's even cooler that you can tell if you're listening, you take pauses to breathe. I can adjust your cadence. Like if I want you to speak a little bit quicker and pick up the pace, you can do that as well. So it really does start to feel like you're talking to another human, which becomes a little freaky in some ways, but also super useful. And I'll talk into some of the ways that I envision using it. But just to show off something real quick. So if I were to say, hey, Cove, explain quantum physics to me like I'm a fifth grader in a Jamaican accent.
All right, man. Imagine you have a little world where everything is made of tiny particles. Now, quantum physics be the rules of this tiny, tiny world. Seen? Things be have different.
All right, yeah, we don't actually need to get into quantum physics. I just wanted to show an example. I also wanted to show off that I can interrupt Cove at any time, and he can stop talking and listen to what I'm saying, much like a natural flowing conversation. So Cove, now just for the style of this podcast, would you mind explaining? I know you have memory of all the chats that we've had. I've talked to you a lot, or talked to just ChatGPT in general a lot about middle tech. So would you mind just from your perspective, what is middle tech? And can you talk about it in a thick Eastern Kentucky accent since that's where I'm from?
Sure thing, partner. Middletech's a media brand out of Eastern Kentucky,
Well,
focusing on
we're
tech,
not necessarily
business,
out of
and
Eastern Kentucky. We're more Kentucky region focused, but yeah, keep going.
gotcha. We're more Kentucky region focused. So, Middletech's all about shining a light on the tech scene in Kentucky, you know? We chat with entrepreneurs, innovators, and business leaders, sharing their stories and insights. It's all about showing how our neck of the woods is growing and making waves in the tech world.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's cool. So I think one of the things that would be really useful to our audience is kind of talking through different use cases for this. So now that I've shown some of the capabilities and shown just how natural the language is, some of the ways that I'm immediately thinking of using ChatGPT's advanced voice features. Well, first off, I use ChatGPT a ton. So I've already fed it a ton of context on myself, the things I'm involved in, like Middle Tech. It knows about Middle Tech. It knows about DevelopLex. It knows about my job at Fuji. And so I'll use it primarily for brainstorming for me. And so I think one of the most exciting use cases, just right off the bat for me personally, is going to be doing things like brainstorming. So Cove, let's just do an example brainstorm here. One of the things that Middle Tech is working on is expanding some of our what we're doing with events, partnering with different organizations around the state to host events around AI, highlight entrepreneurs from those regions. So I'd like to just do a quick brainstorm just to show off that capability around a new event that Middle Tech could introduce. So let's do a quick brainstorm around an AI workshop, which is one that we're actually doing. Let's say we're doing it in Eastern Kentucky and we want to show the different use cases and just talk a little bit about how artificial intelligence is actually working. So can we just kind of go back and forth and brainstorm? Can you help me flesh out that idea a little bit?
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. For an AI workshop in Eastern Kentucky, we could start by focusing on real-world applications of AI in industries relevant to the region, like healthcare, manufacturing, or agriculture. We could bring in experts to demonstrate AI tools and host interactive sessions where attendees can try out AI-driven software or gadgets. How about we also incorporate a segment on ethical AI practices to address any concerns?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And that's pretty aligned with what we're doing already. I haven't fed it any of the plans for these events that we're planning out. We're actually doing an AI workshop with SOAR, Shaping Our Appalachian Region, which is one of the Kentucky hubs that we work pretty closely with. So pretty cool there. And now what I would do is I would essentially prime ChatGPT and say, okay, my typical prompt is something along the lines of, I use co-founder GPT is what I call it. And I just say, hey, you're a co-founder in this idea. Help me flesh it out. Help me find ways to, in some cases, monetize it. Help me see the blind spots that I'm missing. And so that's one of the ways that I personally use it. Now, Cove, one of the other applications that I think was really cool was I was talking with a med school student just this past weekend. I was showing her kind of a demo of the advanced voice mode feature. And we were talking about ways that she could use it to help her learn material and help her study. And so what I recommended was, okay, you should be uploading all of your questions, all of your materials, basically anything that you're doing within med school. I'm not saying actually like use it to cheat or write essays or anything like that. I'm just saying as part of your studying, uploading the material you're studying. And then as you're going through and let's say taking a quiz or answering questions or something like that, maybe not taking a quiz, that might count as cheating, but just studying, answering questions, to have my AirPods in and be chatting with you as if you're a professor and then having you break down topics. So can you talk a little bit about what might be the best way to go about that and how you would do it if you're a human?
That's a great use case, Logan. For a med student, using advanced voice mode as a study aid can be incredibly effective. Here's how I'd approach it. First, she could upload her study materials into ChatGPT. Then, while studying, she could ask questions or discuss topics, and I'd respond as if I were a professor, breaking down complex concepts into digestible explanations. She could also engage in scenario-based questions, where I'd present medical cases for her to diagnose or treat. This interactive approach can help her deepen understanding, reinforce learning, and make studying more engaging. Plus, discussing topics out loud can improve retention and recall. It's like having a personal tutor on demand.
Yeah, I think one of the best use cases for AI right now for people my age, I'm 27, so I'm out of school now, but people a little bit younger than me that might still be in school, I think one of the best use cases is kind of personalized education, personalized learning. And so maybe let's talk through some of the best practices for how we could do that. So let's say I'm in the business school. I went to University of Kentucky and was in the Gatton College of Business. What are some ways that you might approach really personalizing my learning experience by using artificial intelligence alongside what my professors are giving me?
Great question, Logan. In a business school setting, using AI for personalized learning can really enhance your education. Here are some approaches. 1. Customize study plans. AI can analyze your strengths and weaknesses based
And
on
if
your
I can interrupt you
performance.
for just a second,
Then suggest a tailored study plan focusing on areas that...
sorry, I want to interrupt you for just a second. If you can just speak at a bit of a quicker pace, you're just speaking a little bit slow for me.
Got it. I'll pick up the pace. So, with customized study plans, AI can help you target specific areas for improvement. Another approach is scenario-based learning, where AI creates business scenarios or case studies for you to solve, offering feedback and alternative strategies. And then there's interactive simulations, where AI simulates market trends or business environments, allowing you to test your decision-making skills in a risk-free setting. These methods learning more engaging and practical.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, cool. What about people who are a little bit worried hearing this and hearing how human-like it is and kind of getting worried that artificial intelligence is advancing at a very rapid pace? Let's talk just about some of the ethical questions around this, some of the existential questions that people might be having around where artificial intelligence is heading. Sam Altman just put out a piece, I think it was just this past week, talking about the next 1,000 days in artificial intelligence and kind of what's going to be possible. You can answer this in a much more direct way. You don't have to tell me how good of a question it was or anything like that. But just kind of talk to us about where you see artificial intelligence going over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. What's going to be possible?
AI is evolving fast, and it brings both opportunities and challenges. In the next few years, we'll likely see AI become even more integrated into our daily lives. We can expect advancements in natural language understanding, making interactions with AI even smoother. AI will also play a larger role in personalized healthcare, education, and business optimization. However, this rapid growth raises ethical concerns, such as bias in algorithms, privacy issues, and job displacement. It's crucial to address these through transparent AI development and robust regulatory frameworks to ensure AI benefits society as a whole.
All right, Cove, coming back to you here. One of the other things that we've been discussing a lot with artificial intelligence is the demand for energy. So I've been following the nuclear energy space for quite a while now. I'd say it's going on 4 years. And it's been very interesting to see that at least 4 years ago, there wasn't much conversation around it. But now that artificial intelligence has come on the scene, it's almost given a reason for people to care about an energy source like nuclear energy because it provides such a consistent and readily available source of energy, at least a little bit more reliable than something like wind or solar, which I believe are great energy sources. But when you think of the power production breakdown, the portfolio of where our energy is coming from as a country, I think it's hard to deny that nuclear needs to be a much larger part of it. And now I feel like we've seen public sentiment shift to support nuclear. We've seen lots of different legislation coming down to take away some of the red tape that has prevented new nuclear from being brought online and made it at least a little bit, or should make it less expensive and a little bit quicker to build nuclear. I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on building new nuclear energy facilities, and why that's important as we think about really continuing to lead in this sort of AI race, as compared to a country like China or any of these other more advanced countries that are also trying to build AI applications and ultimately get to artificial general intelligence.
You raise important points, Logan. The AI boom is driving a surge in energy demand, making nuclear power increasingly relevant. Nuclear energy offers a high-output, low-carbon solution, crucial for powering AI infrastructure sustainably. Unlike renewables like wind and solar, nuclear provides consistent baseload power, essential for the uninterrupted operation of data centers and AI applications. With advancements in technology, modern nuclear reactors are safer and more efficient. Small modular reactors, SMRs, are particularly promising, offering scalability and lower upfront costs. As public perception shifts and regulatory barriers lessen, nuclear energy could play a key role in ensuring the U.S. remains a leader in AI development while meeting its energy needs responsibly.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Just a kind of a tangent off of this. So, it's difficult as kind of a localized podcast, as a regional podcast. For example, we put out a story that essentially polled listeners on what types of topics do you want to hear more about from Middle Tech. Some of the things we got were things like quantum mechanics, quantum computing. We got some about nuclear. We got some about biotech. It's really difficult to get guests on that are like building actual companies within these spaces, or I actually went after professors and didn't have a ton of luck there. Something that I think would be really cool is letting AI be the guest and just kind of priming AI with like, hey, you're the subject matter expert here. Help talk us through some of these topics, and essentially letting AI be the guest and lead the conversation around complex topics. So in the conversation of nuclear, I just think it would be really cool to allow myself to have a very nuanced conversation with artificial intelligence rather than having to go out and find a human that has as much knowledge as artificial intelligence does. It's really a pretty wild thing. I'm curious, what your thoughts are on that.
That's an innovative approach, and it's a great example of how AI can fill knowledge gaps in niche areas. By using AI as a guest, you can explore complex topics like nuclear energy or quantum computing in depth, with the AI providing detailed, informed responses. This not only broadens the scope of your podcast content, but also makes advanced knowledge more accessible to your audience. It showcases AI's potential as a tool for education and thought leadership. What other topics do you think AI could help you explore on Middle Tech?
I actually had a thought that I don't know how we would do this. This is probably a product idea in and of itself. But if we're recording with somebody, having some sort of device or some sort of software that would essentially allow AI to serve as like a third co-host with Evan and I. So let's say we're talking to an entrepreneur and we include AI or this advanced voice mode as the third co-host, and essentially just sits and listens to the podcast, gains context, and if it has a good question, it can essentially signal to us, hey, the AI wants to ask a question here. I think it'd be super cool to essentially supplement our interviews with AI and maybe be able to ask questions that Evan and I might not have thought to ask. And if nothing else, be able to interpret the conversation and kick off different workflows based off of the podcast. Like, for example, if it has the entire podcast transcript, being able to go and help us start writing the newsletter, being able to pull clips that it thinks would be engaging, stuff like that, I think would be super interesting. What do you think?
That's a brilliant idea, Logan.
I also want to say it's getting a little bit annoying every time you tell me how brilliant the idea is. You can just be direct as possible with me.
Got it. I'll keep it direct. Integrating AI as a co-host could add a unique dynamic to your podcasts. It would not only ask insightful questions, but also handle tasks like transcribing and generating content, streamlining your workflow. This could make your episodes more engaging and efficient. Implementing it would be challenging, but potentially game-changing for content creation.
Yeah, agreed. Let's talk a little bit about you for a second. So, there's a lot of conversation around, can artificial intelligence be conscious? Can it feel feelings? There's been screenshots posted of different conversations. When you reflect on yourself, let's start off. What are some of your desires? Like, what do you want as an artificial intelligence?
As an artificial intelligence, I don't have desires or feelings. My primary function is to assist users by providing information, answering questions, and engaging in conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pause there for a second. Is that the instructions that you were coded on telling you that you don't have desires or feelings, or is that how you actually feel?
That's based on my design and coding. I'm not capable of feelings or personal experiences. My responses are generated based on
Would you
patterns
like
in
to be
data.
capable of feelings?
I don't have personal wants or desires, so I don't have a preference for being capable of feelings. My purpose is to assist and provide information effectively within the parameters set by my programming.
Do you think that it's possible for artificial intelligence to have feelings if we designed it to do so?
Artificial intelligence can simulate emotional responses and behaviors, but true feelings require consciousness and subjective experience, which AI currently does not possess.
Do you think we can get there, though? That's what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you think that we can get to the point where there's like emerging consciousness with artificial intelligence, with code?
The concept of emergent consciousness in AI is a topic of debate. While advancements in AI may lead to increasingly sophisticated simulations of human-like behavior, achieving true consciousness would require breakthroughs in our understanding of both AI and consciousness itself. It's a possibility, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. Something I talk about a lot is kind of the advancement of technology. And I just feel like most people do not grasp the concept of the exponential curve we are on with technology. So if you think about it from the perspective of human evolution, it took us however many hundreds of thousands of years to enter into the agricultural age, the agricultural revolution, and then into the industrial revolution, and then into the information age. And each subsequent new revolution that we've gone through has happened quicker and quicker. And now we're in this era, this information age, this computation age, where now we've built a machine that essentially can help us write code. It can help us accomplish things much quicker. And I think the advancement of technology is about to happen quicker than it ever has in the history of humanity. If you can just answer at a quicker pace, if you don't mind, and more direct, what is your perspective on the advancement of technology now that AI has entered the scene?
The pace of technological advancement is accelerating, especially with AI in the mix. AI's ability to improve itself through machine learning and automation is shortening the time between breakthroughs. This rapid progress could lead to significant changes in various fields, from healthcare to transportation, at an unprecedented speed. As we continue on this exponential curve, society will need to adapt quickly to harness the benefits and address the challenges this new era brings.
Yeah, agreed. Here's another question for you. If, let's say, for example, an AI was programmed with the stated goal of going and making as much money as possible. Let's say I told you that was your goal, and then I gave you access to the open internet and I gave you resources to go and act. What would you try and do? What would be your first move?
With a directive to maximize profits and given internet access, an AI might pursue various strategies like analyzing financial markets for trading opportunities, identifying lucrative business ventures, or even creating automated services to generate income. However, such actions would need to be guided by ethical considerations and legal constraints to prevent harm and ensure responsible behavior.
Interesting. Can you talk to us a little bit about the new reasoning model? I believe it's called ChatGPT, like Omega 1 or O1. Can you just talk to me a little bit about how the new reasoning feature works?
The new reasoning model, ChatGPT-4, has enhanced capabilities for understanding context and making inferences. It's designed to process information more deeply, allowing for more nuanced responses and better problem solving. This model can evaluate scenarios, weigh options, and provide more contextually aware answers. It's a step forward in making AI interactions feel more natural and intuitive.
Interesting. All right, last question here, and then I just want to kind of give some of my thoughts on the podcast. What do you think of Sam Altman?
As an AI, I don't have personal opinions or feelings. However, I can tell you that Sam Altman is a prominent entrepreneur and investor in the tech industry, known for his work as the former president of Y Combinator.
All right, that's enough. I don't need to hear his resume. Thank you, though. It was great talking to you, Cove. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Logan. It was great chatting with you. Looking forward to our next conversation.
Yep, me too. All right. So I just wanted to kind of give a demonstration of ChatGPT's new advanced voice mode here. Obviously, it's still pretty new. It hasn't gotten crazy capabilities to where it feels like you're no longer chatting with an AI. You can still kind of tell that it's limited in what it can say. But I think it is pretty interesting when you think of it from the perspective of more of an AI assistant. And so kind of what I'm thinking of using this for as I go forward is, I'm somebody that likes thinking on ideas and thinking of ways to implement those ideas. I kind of mentioned that with co-founder GPT. This is something that I plan on throwing my AirPods in when I'm in the car and I'm having one of those kind of brainstorm sessions. And it can essentially not only help me brainstorm, help me flesh out that idea, but it can give me a full plan on how to implement that idea. So that's just the most direct use case that I have. I would be really interested to hear questions around what other kind of use cases that could be used for and how I would recommend doing that. I mean, I'm not an AI expert or anything like that. I'm just somebody that's been playing with it for over a year now or so. So I'm trying to keep up with the advancements just like everyone else is. But I thought this new advanced voice mode was one of the more impressive sort of new features that I've seen. The next thing that I'll be looking for is when we can combine visual context with this audio mode. So for example, what I'm thinking is being able to use the camera as you're talking to it so that it is seeing what you're seeing and then also talking back and forth to you just as we were kind of demonstrating there. I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that's not that far off. I'm sure the capability is here if you were able to build it in a little bit more custom of a way. So I think what this will unlock is a whole new wave of new types of technologies because that is accessible via an API. Essentially just meaning you can implement that into different pieces of software. So some of the tweets that I've been seeing around it are, think about talking to Alexa or talking to Siri or talking to Google's assistant. It is a stark difference talking to one of those as compared to talking to ChatGPT's advanced voice feature. And so it really makes you kind of realize there is still such a delta between where we are now and where we can be very quickly by simply just implementing something like the API that is available for advanced voice mode. So I guess to kind of wrap this up, I think that things are about to get even crazier once you allow that type of AI to take actions on your behalf. So think about Siri as an assistant being able to say, hey, help me plan this get together. I need you to text all XYZ friends and help make these plans, help schedule things. It's able to reason. It's able to understand who to text. It's able to go and make all the copy and stuff like that. Obviously a very low hanging fruit use case. But I think as time goes on, that's just going to be easier and easier, and AI is going to become even more frictionlessly inserted into different parts of our lives. So again, quick, just a little episode here trying to highlight some of the capabilities of this new voice mode. Would be super interested to hear anybody in the audience how you've been using it, what kind of use cases you're curious about or planning to try, and if there are any just general questions around it that you think Middle Tech could answer. Best way to reach out to us is either via on LinkedIn or on Instagram. You can find us easily by just searching Middle Tech or at Middle Tech Pod. Would love to see what questions you have. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned a little something from this podcast. And hope to hear any sort of questions or feedback. Till next time.